Japan has a 99% literacy rate. Their students consistently rank among the highest performers in the world in math, science, and reading. But here's the part nobody talks about. It's not because their students are naturally smarter. It's because they follow a completely different set of rules about how learning actually works. And by the end of this video, you'll have those exact rules. Japanese education philosophy isn't just about putting in more hours. It's about how you think before you open a textbook, how you structure your environment, and how you treat failure, which might be the biggest difference of all. I've broken this down into 5 core pillars. These aren't vague concepts. Each one is actionable and starts today. Let's get into it. Pillar 1, Kaizen. And no, it's not a productivity buzzword. Kaizen is a Japanese philosophy meaning continuous small improvement. Toyota built an entire manufacturing empire on it. Japanese students have been quietly applying it to academics for decades. The idea is devastatingly simple. Don't try to study for 5 hours on Sunday. Study for 30 minutes every single day. That's it. Here's why it actually works. Your brain consolidates memory during sleep. When you review material right before sleeping and wake up the next morning, the neural pathways holding that information get physically stronger. A 5-hour session on one day gives you 1 sleep cycle of consolidation. 30 minutes daily gives you 7. The math is brutal in your favor. Start with this. Identify the single hardest subject you have. Open it for 25 minutes tonight. Not when you feel motivated, just tonight. That's your first Kaizen move. Pillar 2, Shu-Ha-Ri. This is a martial arts learning framework that Japanese students apply to academics. And it changes everything about how you approach a new subject. 3 stages. Shu, follow the rules exactly. Ha, bend the rules. Ri, break free from the rules entirely. Here's how this maps to your studies. When you're learning calculus or chemistry for the first time, you are in Shu mode. Stop trying to be creative. Stop trying to find shortcuts. Follow the textbook method exactly. Solve problems the way your teacher shows you and repeat it until it's automatic. This is where a lot of students fail. They skip Shu and try to find their own approach before they've mastered the fundamentals. You cannot break a rule you don't fully understand. Once you can solve problems even in your sleep, you enter Ha. You start asking why the formula works, you connect it to other subjects, you test variations. Then Ri, you start teaching others, creating your own mental models. And that's when you stop memorizing and start genuinely knowing. Ask yourself right now, for your main subject, are you still in Shu? Most students are, but they're trying to operate in Ri. That mismatch is why they're stuck. Pillar 3, Hansei. The daily reflection practice. Every evening, Japanese students and professionals don't just end their day, they review it. Hansei is the act of deep, honest self-reflection, not just journaling about feelings, but auditing your performance against your goals. The exact method: create a notebook of maps. Recreate what you just studied. Draw it like a map. Connect the ideas with arrows. Use stick figures if you have to. Make it messy. It's almost always embarrassing the first time you try this. That embarrassment is the entire point. This single practice separates students who plateau from students who compound, because it forces you to close the gap between what you think you know and what you actually know. Most students finish a study session feeling productive without ever testing whether information stuck. Hansei makes self-testing non-negotiable. Because your brain has a flaw called the fluency illusion, rereading something familiar feels like knowing it. The moment you try to reconstruct it from scratch with 0 prompts, the illusion breaks. You find out exactly which parts dissolve the second you stopped looking at them. Do this for 2 weeks and your exam performance will shift. Not because you studied more, but because you finally know exactly where your gaps are. Pillar 4, Environmental Design. Japanese students treat their physical study environment as a tool, one that either multiplies or destroys their focus. They don't rely on willpower to ignore distractions. They remove distractions from the environment before sitting down. There's a concept here called ma, means negative space. The Japanese use this in architecture, art, and daily life. In study context, ma means intentional emptiness on your desk. Only what you need for this session is visible. Everything else is physically out of reach or in another room. Your phone isn't on silent mode on your desk. It's in another room entirely. Research has shown that just having your phone face down on a desk reduces available working memory, even if you never touch it. Its mere presence consumes cognitive bandwidth. Redesign your space before your next session. Clear the desk, one notebook, one pen, one textbook. No music, no snacks, no phone. Spend the first 2 minutes in that space doing absolutely nothing, letting your nervous system settle. The Japanese call this mokusu, silent contemplation before activity. What modern performance science now calls pre-performance routines, Japan has practiced for centuries. Pillar 5, Shokunin mindset. And this is the one that changes everything. Shokunin means craftsman. In Japan, a sushi chef will spend 10 years just learning to prepare rice before they are trusted with the fish. A woodworker will plane the same board 10,000 times before they're considered intermediate. The Shokunin doesn't study to pass, they study to master. This sounds abstract until you apply it directly. Stop asking what's going to be on the test. Start asking, do I actually understand this completely? Those are two radically different orientations, and they produce radically different students. When you study like a Shokunin, grades become a byproduct. You're not chasing the A, you're building real competence, and the A follows. Every student who gets consistently high grades has, at some point, made this internal shift. They stopped optimizing for the score and started optimizing for genuine understanding. The score just catches up. This week, pick one topic, just one, and study it to a level beyond what's required. Teach it out loud to yourself and draw it. Connect it to 3 other things you already know. Go deeper than the syllabus demands. That is the Shokunin practice, and once you feel that depth of understanding, you'll never go back to surface level memorization again. Bonus. Now, before you go, just one last thing that we can't miss. In Japan, there's a practice called Nemawashi, literally, going around the roots. It's the act of preparing the ground before you plant anything. Applied to studying, it means this. Spend the last 5 minutes of your night previewing tomorrow's topic before you sleep. Don't study it, don't take notes, just read the headings, glance at the diagrams, let your eyes move across the page once, then close it and sleep. So when you sit down the next day, the material feels oddly familiar. Your brain isn't starting from zero, it's filling in a structure it already started building overnight. 5 minutes, no effort. Compounding returns. That's Nemawashi. And it might be the easiest upgrade in this entire video. These are 5 pillars, but you don't need to start all 5 tonight. Start with 1. Pick the one that exposed your biggest weakness, because you already know which one that is. If this gave you something real, subscribe, because every video on this channel is built the same way. No filler, just systems that actually work. Drop in the comments which pillar you're starting with. I read every single one. These methods weren't built for a specific type of person. They were built on a deep understanding of how human effort applied with the right structure compounds over time. You have the system now. What you do with it is completely up to you. See you in the next one.